Brodes Media.
Yo, this Thursday, Coffee with Brodes live at 11 a.m. That's right, me and you. The way you get access is join the community here on Brodes Media, and you will have the ability every Monday and Thursday at 11 a.m. starting Thursday to chill with me drinking coffee. And also, you get access to the Discord channel, which the link is down below in the description, where we get to hang out, kick it when breaking news happens. We chat 24/7 throughout the day. We're having a lot of fun, so you get the opportunity to do that as well. Love you guys to death. Appreciate you, and enjoy the show. What is going on, everybody? One day closer. That's right. 24 hours farther away from the last time we spoke. Phillies baseball is on the horizon. So, as we do the countdown to opening day, here's what we're going to throw around, okay? The Phils need an X-factor. Let's remove for a second Bryce Harper, Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola, Kyle Schwarber. I'm putting Trey Turner in that as well, and I'm even putting JT Realmuto into that too. Now, maybe you could sell me that JT Realmuto could be your X factor. I believe that there's multiple different guys that you can lean on, and obviously from a full body of work perspective, over 162 games, it will be someone else for a little bit of time. I'll watch Alec Bohm be great for a month where maybe Kyle Schwarber is lacking power and maybe Aaron Nola has some awkward, unfortunately disappointing starts throughout the regular season. But then Christopher Sanchez wins a game against the Braves that you don't expect to win when you're facing Spencer Strider or something like that. So, yeah, I'm aware on how this whole thing works, but just from a generalization level, as we approach baseball all day and every single second of my life, other than full disclosure, I bought tennis TV today. I've been fucking glued. I even have it on 2 television screens to my left on mute while I'm recording, just so I can peek over and maybe catch a rally. I'm obsessed. I just watched Coco Gauff lose right before the quarters in the Miami Open. I'm a big Coco Gauff fan, so I don't know. Maybe I have some competition with some tennis, some ATP 1000s on my little list of things to do every day. But yes, baseball right around the corner. From a general standpoint, let's talk about some key potential X factors throughout the season. And one is Nick Castellanos, and there's going to be a couple obvious ones here, but it's also interesting to see maybe how you can make certain arguments for others. Sometimes I actually enjoy just a thought-provoking conversation. Listen, I could get fired up with the best of them. I can react accordingly with the best of them. But sometimes I like to talk through different names throughout a potential hypothetical and see what this guy can do, what that guy can do. Hey, I kind of like where that one measures out. I'm not really feeling this one that much. Or, hey, maybe I overstated in this department. That's what the show is going to be mostly about. So, some names may be obvious, but with Nick Castellanos, the reason why he falls on my list is just because I feel this entire batting order and this team has a different attitude that switches on when he gets going. It's just his personality. It's who he is. It's his demeanor. It's the way it looks. Because when he's raking and he's scorching the ball left and right, and he's got his buttons undone and his chest is showing and he's got the jewelry hanging, that's important to this team's brand. There is a toughness about having to face this team because they are built to have so much power. So when one of your power hitters are really becoming electric, on top of the obvious Harpers and those guys that I mentioned earlier, it's super scary, and especially when he's batting late in the lineup like he did last season, because it was a little uncomfortable at times. He ends up batting deeper than we all thought. Cleanup hitter, big right-handed bat that can protect Bryce Harper, and then he starts flirting around the later action with Brandon Marsh and those guys. But if he's on fire, good luck. Because when you get back to the top of the order after he bats, it's Kyle Schwarber, it's Trey Turner, it's Bryce Harper. So I think obviously the length of your order really stretches, and just the brand of baseball that you play, because when he trots around the bases all confidently with his cocky-ass attitude, it goes a long way. You're high-fiving everybody in the dugout. It matters when it's Nick. And I also think that there's a part of this brotherhood that everybody is aware that he had to deal with some negativity. They had to deal with a lot of people talking smack about him. So when he's able to accomplish his goal, it's like, screw you. We heard him. We heard him, right? You start dapping up your boy. Think about it. If one of your best friends was dealing with adversity and he ends up just answering the bell beautifully in whatever craft it is, next time you see him, you go, it's a fat dap. It ain't no what up, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's a bring it in, motherfucker. And that's what it's all about. They feel that way too, and that creates more life. I'm a big vibe guy now. Once again, and I've said this with different scenarios in the past, I evolve. I change. Maybe once there was a time where I was less vibey, and I was more just about forget vibes, just go get this, go get that, let's make it work. Now I'm a vibe guy now. So because I sit in this little area, I need vibes with Nick Castellanos, and that's what his role would be from an X Factor. Now, here's what I want out of Alec Bohm, because he had 97 runs batted in last season, and he got a good amount of homers for my liking. I still want to see him take even another step with the power, and I'm only holding him to this type of standard because I think he can do it. I believe in his ability. I believe in how good of a player he is. So it's not as if I'm being unfair or putting false expectations on him. I truly think that he can maybe, if he utilizes his body properly and pulls the ball the way that I've seen him do when he smokes bombs, I could see him get to 30. I do. Now, it won't happen this season. I'm not projecting that. But overall, if we can get 30 home runs, 108 RBI, 107 RBI, so you're tacking on maybe 10 more runs batted in, that adds and elevates this already stacked and extremely disgusting batting order. Once again, it's almost just taking what we know is fantastic and putting some more sauce on. Put a little more buffalo sauce on it and laying it thick. You know what I'm saying? And Alec Bohm can do that. Now, here's a few pitchers, okay? Ranger Suarez, because I think we all feel confident when he's on the mound, correct? There's something about his smoothness. He's poised. And there's a vibe. Just to double down here on why I become a vibesman now is because the way he plays is a vibe. It's this poised attitude. It's this I'm never out of control attitude. It's this, hey, man, there's a man on second and third with one out, and I'm in an 0-2 count right now. I'll be able to get a swing and a miss with a big beauty. Now it's a 2-out situation, and we're getting out of this. I am working myself out of this jam. I'm in a pickle. I will win this battle. And everybody behind him understands that. Unfortunately, there's some other guys who might be in a very toxic environment, and instead of being able to take a few deep breaths and weather the storm, it's a 3-run jack. It's a double in the gap, and now the bases are pretty much empty, except for the man who just hit a frickin' triple off of you. Doesn't happen with Ranger. But I wouldn't put Ranger Suarez in Aaron Nola's category yet. And I'm not talking strictly of, well, his numbers here and Aaron Nola's ERA, this and that. It goes Zach Wheeler, number 1, a big jump and way ahead of Aaron Nola. And then the gap between Ranger and Aaron isn't as big as Zach and Aaron, if that makes sense. But Ranger Suarez isn't on Aaron Nola's level yet from that perspective. And what if he can be? What if he can be? What if he can at least close the gap? And he wasn't able to have the proper spring training. He wasn't able to be exactly where he wanted to be last season to kick things into gear. That's what the team is preaching, at least. Knowing that he saw some good things happen in spring for him, Can he move beautifully right into the first game of his when he gets the ball, the first nod, and just start to finish be this insane Ranger Suarez where he even reaches a different level? And I do sort of feel a little foolish pretending like he's not on Nola's level because that sounds funny. It does. It sounds funny to me, and that's why I paused earlier when I laid it out there. But deep down, I stand by that, and I do believe it. And Ranger is really good. There's no doubt about it. But what if he's more of an Aaron Nola type of dominance in the playoffs, and now we have pretty much a 1A ace and then two really good number twos, while other teams are scrambling right now, and those squads are probably going to end up picking up Jordan Montgomery. While, excuse me, it doesn't seem like the Phillies are going to be doing that at all, which is disappointing because I don't know if they have enough starting pitching. But I did hear an interesting debate on WFAN this morning. I was listening to BT and Sal, and that is New York's version of WIP, if you don't know too much about the outside markets and their sports talk radio programs. But they were pretty much debating, do the Yankees truly need to be worried about starting pitching without Garrett Cole if they have Aaron Judge and Juan Soto and Stanton and some of their big bats? They got Verdugo, who they think could play a certain role there. So they're just thinking of ways to still have a ton of success. And Garrett Cole will be back eventually. They're saying right now that it's going to be about 2 months or so, but there will be an opportunity for him to shine this season. At least they're hoping that's the case. I don't know. You can always sell fan bases optimism, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're doing what a lot of these franchises, don't worry about it. And then 2 months from now, it's, he'll get reevaluated in another 2 weeks. Trust me, I deal with that with Joel Embiid way too much in my life. I'm only 28 years old. I feel like that's been 7 years just being drilled in the back of my head nonstop. Joel Embiid's going to be reevaluated. Okay, well, how about tell me when he's reevaluated then? Oh, he is, but we're going to reevaluate him. Oh, do we? Okay. Sick and tired of it. Ruining my postseason run of Sixers hoops. Just a joke. Absolute joke. But I thought it was interesting because I applied it to this Phillies team because to an extent we're dealing with not our number one going down like they do in Garrett Cole, but Taijuan Walker ate 170-plus innings. So you need to be able to find that and make up for that without more than just going all in with Spencer Turnbull. I'm sorry. That doesn't get me as excited as others. He just hasn't been able to stay healthy, so I don't truly know what he can be. Regardless of seeing the radar gun in spring training, because there's a lot more to it. He only started 7 games last year, and he was also dealing with injuries prior and Tommy John, and he hasn't really been able to get right since. So it's not that he can't get right. It's just I need to be able to see him get right. And look, I said the same thing about Wheeler. All right, hey, you got a nice, solid, professional starter from the New York Mets. He's not necessarily a top guy, and then he became a top guy. Well, to a lesser degree, can Spencer Turnbull become someone who I go, I don't know, he can't really put it together, but I guess he's a professional arm, and then he ends up being a nice 5th starter for you. I can't rule it out. I just need to see it, all right? I'm a little pessimistic on that side. But does this team need starting pitching if they have Schwarber and Turner and your big, great pieces deliver? In the regular season, I lean towards saying you could probably get by, but I can't throw around 170 innings looking to get filled and just pretend like that's a nonchalant conversation. Regardless on how well he even pitched throughout that time or not, because I guess you can make the argument that even through a bullpen game or a little weird opener where you ask someone to go maybe 2 innings and get 1 out in the 3rd before you start flipping through pitchers way more frequently, that you could probably get better pitching than when Taijuan Walker got those 170 innings anyway. So could it be worse? Could it be better? Yeah, I guess it could be better. I guess it could be. Yeah. But then I ask about the long-term effect because it's not about 5 games, 6 games, 7 games. It's over the long haul. So will you have a less efficient bullpen in, let's say, August or in the late July because you had to ask them to pitch as aggressively as they did every fifth day, something along those lines. Pretend your bullpen blows up normally when you're in September. This time it blew up in July because you were putting too much stress on them and asking them to pitch more than they are capable of. I don't know. I'm just looking at everything. I'm looking at everything. Everything's on the table. But I would lean towards, there should be enough juice. There should be enough of the ability to drive in runs and cause a lot of trouble for other teams. You should be able to make out more times than not. I guess that would be the difference, though. They're at 90.5 wins right now for the betting odds. And let's say they would win really 92 with Taijuan Walker. Now they win 89, which could still be the second team in the National League East instead of beating the Braves. I'm saying if you can still do well without grabbing a starter because of your offense carrying you, I do think that you do get limited in your highest form, your max capacity. If your max capacity with Walker is 92, well, this way might be 90. Maybe it's 90, right on the dot, the difference in 2 wins. And you might think that that's not a big deal, but the difference in 2 wins late in the season could be a world of a difference. Now, probably not with the Atlanta Braves because they'd be sniffing around 103, 102 or something like that. But if you show up and actually kick the Braves' ass more times than not, when you see each other in the regular season, you can pull some of their win total down as well. And then obviously it would go to your advantage and you'd make up the ground quicker. But anyway, I'm just kind of throwing it around and letting you think, letting it marinate in your head for a tad and see what you make of it. That's all. I lean towards they'd be able to do it. They just won't win as much, but they'd still be able to do enough in this division to be a wild card team, for whatever that's worth. Okay, let's continue with maybe some of these potential X factors. Here's one out of your bullpen, Seranthony Dominguez, because Jose Alvarado is a damn machine. That dude is a matchup nightmare. It is so ridiculous how he's able to fire it in. His velocity is so epic. It's so sick. Big body, the celebration, looking up, the passion that he plays with. It's fucking great. I can't wait for him to be in a big spot. I don't want him to have guys on base, but just to make the moment feel more insane, you have him on 3 guys on, 2 outs, 2-2 count. Here's Jose Alvarado. And then the Wells Fargo Citizens Bank Park is on 10,000. See what I'm saying? Why we're doing this countdown to Phillies opening day? Because my fucking brain is ready I'm already in playoff mode, and I just kind of threw out a whole visualization for you of a damn playoff game. We don't even have opening day. We don't even know if it's going to happen on Thursday. It probably isn't going to happen on Thursday. It's going to be rain. They're going to move it back. Then everyone who got tickets is going to bitch that they can't make it on Friday. Then they had to sell their tickets. They already told work they were taking off. The whole shebang. We dealt with this pretty damn recently as well. I don't care because my job is to watch the game. Don't care when it is. Preferably, I'd like it Tuesday. I'd like it tomorrow so I don't have to wait as long. But Thursday, Friday, I'm locked in on the couch here in my studio, or I'm going to be in here on the other side of the wall with the man cave, the recliner, maybe a couple cold ones, maybe a little something that's green. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a little something. Get the Phils going. Wheels get 7 Ks. Maybe 8. 9. 10. Double digits. I wouldn't be surprised if the first caption for here on Brodes Media with a nice little post-game pod, Zach Wheeler, 11 strikeouts in Phillies 4-0 win over the Atlanta Braves. Bryce Harper hits 2 home runs and Zach Wheeler shines in the Phillies season debut. The Phillies fucking kill the Braves! 15-1. Bryce Harper with 3 home runs. Nick Castellanos with 4 doubles. Oh, and Zach Wheeler finishes the day with 13 Ks. But if Seranthony Dominguez, getting back to the actual conversation, when you package him together with your late leverage scenarios here. And you can use Alvarado in the pockets, and you could be more creative and more versatile with him. And Sir Anthony being sort of that force and shutdown guy, it would be outstanding. Outstanding. It elevates to what it seems the MLB world is claiming, which is this bullpen's one of the best in baseball. Maybe there's just not a lot of great bullpens. I don't know. It just feels very, very crazy to even make that claim. So I back away from it as much as humanly possible. I don't agree with it. I just don't agree with it. And I'm telling you, it is because of PTSD. It is because we are all stunned and in a lot of trauma because of what went down. But it is what it is. And whether it's happening because of that or not, it's happening. It's not settling for me that they are the best bullpen in baseball. But if Sir Anthony can be that X factor, yes, it's way closer to that. And maybe in their world, they see him being great. They see him bouncing back. They see him being an absolute stud. I'm talking the whole world, when they show up a graphic with the game on Fox because it's a national broadcast, they go, Sir Anthony Dominguez, his numbers don't even make sense. We haven't seen numbers like this since 1962, back when the pitch for like that level of whoa. And you package that up with Jose Alvarado. Scary things for sure. How about this one? What if I threw in a little Whit Merrifield? Now, if he ends up being that solid for you, though, they'll probably play him more. I'm not as worried as others about maybe some of the splits last season. Well, he started out so good, and then things kind of tailed off, and you look at his age, and where should he be playing? How many games are his comfort zone? Things along those lines. And yes, I'm aware on where he's at in his career, but if he's actually really doing strong, because I don't know exactly what this whole platoon Pache Rojas thing is, I don't know. They're going with Rojas, and for the Tortorella crowd, real quick, I'm sorry, I just have to blurt this in there, because a lot of fans said that it's pro sports. You got to earn your playing time. Rojas did not earn his playing time. Pache significantly outplayed Rojas, especially offensively. Rojas did not earn center field. So if Sean Couturier can get scratched, but you might say, well, he makes the team better defensively. You're a better hockey team with Sean Couturier in the lineup compared to not having him in the lineup. That's reality. You but Torts could bench anyone he wants. If you don't earn it, you don't play. Then Rojas should not be on the Major League Baseball roster right now because he deserves to be in AAA getting some at-bats. That's just me being honest. That's reality of the situation. He's not a 300 hitter like he did when he first got up last year, and he didn't do well in spring training. He hit about 170, so I don't think he's the worst hitter to ever live by any means. I do expect progression, or else I'd be extremely disappointed with the front office for just handing him this when he didn't even earn it a little bit. At least say, all right, I saw some things that we told him to work on, and it's getting there. He just needs some more time, and we feel that he can, on a team that's ready to go win a championship, can learn at the major league level on the fly, while it normally takes a ton of great players, some AAA experience to get there. But I'm not destroying Rojas. I think he's fine. But anyway, the Whit Merrifield stuff, he'd probably end up getting a lot more time in left field, and they'd probably jiggle some things around if that was the case. So would then he be in a different role, so I wouldn't have the same level of impact as maybe the Mr. Utility Man that I'm sort of seeing right now, because that's the role he is, and that's where he's slotted in to start the season. So that's kind of what I'm picturing when talking about it in this sense. But if he ends up being great, I know for a fact that they got to respect the veteran, and they'll throw him in there more. And you might see him play second base and give Bryson Stott a day off if there's a hard lefty in there. And they need a left-handed stick out in the outfield. They do, because Pache and Rojas and Merrifield, right now it's Brandon Marsh. And I like Brandon Marsh. I think he deserves more time than they do. They seem to not be as high on Brandon Marsh as I am, I guess, for whatever reason. I think you plug him in and you let him play every day no matter what starter's on the mound. I'm just saying, that's what I would do. I think he deserves to play. He deserves to play. You play him. You play them. You don't overanalyze it. You're not sticking someone else out there and telling him to relax on the bench for 2 days because there's lefties. No, let him rip against lefties. Same with Stott. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. My one fear, though, as we get things in a little position here to wrap things up, I don't want the Phillies to become how we watch other teams that become good in this town. Because I've seen it so many times where once a team starts making the playoffs before they become a consistent playoff contender, you're excited about it. I loved watching Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. But once it became the norm to be a 50-plus win season, whatever, just get us to the NBA playoffs. Are we going to live in a world? And maybe not, because baseball is the sport of the summer. A lot of people around here go down the shore. They're on the beach. They're playing, what's that game with the paddles and that little blue ball that you hit? Is it paddle ball? Should I have just said that right from the paddle ball? Paddle ball on the beach. They got the radio on, WIP. They're chilling, listening. It's a different vibe. Whereas the Sixers start when Halloween gets going. You're rolling through NFL playoffs, so you're already tied into that emotionally. Their regular season as well. Eagles regular season football. So you're distracted by so many other things. We love the summer. We get to hang out with the kids, get to go down the shore. We don't rush for it to pass the same way we have the regular season of NBA to pass. And the NBA regular season, if we're being honest and open here, sometimes it's a drag. It is rough. Sometimes there's rough 1-0 games against the Pittsburgh Pirates throughout an MLB season, but you're emotionally invested for the long journey. You know the games are like that. It's different. It's baseball. It's baseball. It's a different approach. But I hope we don't get sucked into feeling that way at any particular time, because of everything I just laid out, and I think that's important. And you got to understand what you're committing to when you watch the baseball season a certain way. That's all. That's all. All right. Listen, countdown to opening day. It's here. We're doing it daily. We'll see what pops up next after this one. Thank you guys so much. I love you. I'll see you on the next one.